Hey, it's Rich, the Louisiana hobby guy. So, absolute coordinates is the way these lasers have been designed to work. They do everything in coordinates. Even your software screen is in absolute coordinates. Yeah, you can start from center, or you can, you know, use current position or use origin and all that kind of stuff. But you're never going to get a perfect engraving on your work. So I have a quick and easy hack today. This sort of takes off on my cardboard one from last year, where you simply lay down a sheet of cardboard and burn a grid on that piece of cardboard and tack it down. But what about you CO2 users that have the honeycomb bed or the knife bed? And how do you do this? Well, it's really easy. So today I have the ATZER 20 watt, or actually 24 watt, inside the CO2 today on the honeycomb bed. So I'm going to show you pretty quickly. I know nothing I ever do is quick, but I'm going to show you how to set up the piece of cardboard, burn your template, and then go back and make a product that comes out perfect. And you're going to want to do it this way, especially like if you have an order for 10 or 12 pieces, something like that. Just take an old piece of cardboard, Amazon box, lock it down with your magnets to the honeycomb bed. Make sure that it's perfectly flat, and watch this video because we're going to get started right now. All right, so I have two jobs that I need to run today. This is a coaster. I made a set of 16 coasters for a buddy of mine, and one of them broke and he wants to get it replaced. So he wants a slate coaster with the New Orleans Saints logo on it. I'm going to delete that for now. I already know what these are. I've done so many of these. They're 101 millimeters wide. So if I put this in millimeters, you'll see that it's not 101, but I'm going to explain that later. So we're going to delete this one for now. And now I've got this in my CO2 on the ATZER 24 watt, and I have a honeycomb bed underneath there, so I don't have a waste grid for this yet. So you CO2 lovers are going to love this. We're going to take and we're going to draw a circle, and I'm just going to hold shift and draw out a perfect circle. Then I'm going to select it, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make this 103 millimeters and press enter. Now we have 103 by 103, and yeah, I know I said it's 101, but we need that little bit of play in there so that we can figure this out. Now, with it selected, I'm going to come up here to the top, move it directly to the center, just like that. And if you don't see these up here, just right click, uncheck arrange, and check arrange long, and then you'll get all these icons up here. So now we know that that's perfectly in the middle. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come to the camera, which you can't see because the door is closed. So let me go open that door. Okay, now we got the door open. You can see the camera. I'm going to put it on the black layer. And I'm going to come to the black layer. That's way too much power. So let me jump into my library, and I've got the cardboard right here. So I'll expand that, expand the engrave, and I will assign that to the layer and put it into line mode just like that. So 3017% power is just perfect for this job. And if we take and bring the camera out over here, I will actually show you the run of the job. Now again, here, just a scrap piece of cardboard. It doesn't matter where you get it from, as long as it's flat, and mine wasn't. So I had to put magnets all the way around it to make sure that it was flat. And now all we're going to do now is just run this job real quick. So we're going to go ahead and hit the start button. And that's it. So now we have a spot where we can position our material perfectly. So now what I'm going to do now I'm going to put this on a toolpath, because I'm also going to make a clock that requires 12-inch by 12-inch material. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do 12.25 and press tab, 12.25, press enter, and now I have that selected. So I'm going to do the same thing again, bring that over here, put it on the black layer. That black layer is already set, as you can see, 3017 power. We'll come back to the camera again, and I'm going to run that one. And I should have probably just run both of them at the same time, but what the heck. So we'll go ahead and run that one. Now I do have to, run this job perfectly for this clock because the parts are nested in a way where they're taking up the entire 12 by 12 piece of wood. So I have to be able to position that wood absolutely perfectly in order to make this job work well. Now I'm not going to actually run that job in this video. I'll just do the coaster. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over and position my coaster in place, and I'm going to make my final template. So stand by for that. All right, so now I've got my coaster, as you can see right here. And before I actually do this, I know it's 101 millimeters wide, but I'm not going to want to use that whole 101 space. So I just want to find out, I'm going to say that it's probably going to be about 67 millimeters is about, let's say, I'm going to say 68 millimeters looks pretty good. Maybe 70. Let's go to 70 and see how that looks. And I think 70 is perfect. So I think 70 will fit on here. You know, because of all of the rough cut on this slate, you don't want to do the entire size. So we're going to do 70, and also take a look at the way the grain is. This grain is going like this right here. So I want to put that grain, I want to make it look burn properly. So I put the grain vertical. Now I'll just come in here, and you can see there's my circle. And all I have to do is position that right there on the cardboard so that it is all inside that circle. And that's it. And just make sure that it's in the right spot. There we go. That looks pretty good right there. And now this job is ready to run. So we're going to go ahead and run this job, and you'll see what perfect results we get. All right, so that's all done. Killed all the noise. And here is our final product. And now you can see why I sized it at 70 millimeters. I think this is a beautiful project, and it's going to be a perfect replacement. And I did do his, I think, at 72, so it should be just the same. All right, so what I've done differently in this one is I've taken out the cardboard and I've just put in a sheet of colored paper. That's all I've done. And I put it about in the middle of the bed, or where I think the middle of the bed is. So now I'm going to draw my template. I'm going to take and select this one. I'm going to put it on the black layer in line mode. We're going to unlock it up here, and we're going to come to millimeters. And I know that the width is 62. So I'm actually going to make this 63. And by 100. 100 is good because it's actually 99.2 or 3, something like that. And then we'll lock it. Actually, I have it the wrong orientation, so I'll just select it and press the period key to rotate that around. So now I have my template that I'm going to mark the paper with. With it selected, I'm going to come up here and center it like that. And I will bring out the camera again. We'll bring it out, put it over here. And I will come to my layers. We're going to go to craft paper right here. I'm going to expand that. I'm going to go to engrave. I'm going to select the engrave, assign it to the layer, and change it to line mode like that. And now we're ready to run the job. I will frame this just to make sure that I put the paper in the right spot, which I know that I did. And you don't have to actually do the framing, but let's go ahead and start that job. And now we've got our mark on the paper. So now all I have to do is take my piece of wood and bring it over there, and I'll show you that live. I'll go put it on there right now. The beauty of this is that it doesn't matter if it's slightly crooked or anything else. So let's just go ahead and cut something out real quick. And now I can put this on a tool path because we don't want that to output again. And what I'll do is we're going to do something quick so that you don't have to wait. We're just going to do a circle like that, put it on the red layer. I'm going to come over here to basswood, and I'm going to come to 4mm cut, and I'm going to assign that to the layer. So we got 407. That's probably too hot, but we'll just leave it like that for now. Doesn't matter. So I'll bring this back out again. We'll come to the laser. Now, the beauty about this is that we just have the craft paper. So it's gonna cut right through the craft paper with the wood, unlike the cardboard, where the cardboard stands a chance of igniting, or worse yet, burning through the wood. If it doesn't go through the cardboard, it's going to leave all types of soot and debris on the back of your cut. So let's go ahead and run this job and see what happens. Now you can see that's cutting all the way through. And it's not going to cause a problem with soot or debris. And I forgot to put on the air assist, but that's okay. Even with the warning message, I forgot to put it on, but that's okay because it's going to run the job. Let's go take a look at it. So there you can see that first off, it did, a perfect job on the wood. It did leave a little bit. This is the front because that's where I had it marked. It did leave a little bit of residual on the back, but that'll clean right off. But as you can see over here, it cut right straight through the craft paper as well. So now if I had an odd shape that I needed to do, I could just do the outline of the odd shape or whatever it might be. So there you go. I mean, this is just that easy to set up, and you can run this again and again and again. These books of this paper is just so cheap that you can use these for one-off templates or one-job templates, things like that. And especially for the CO2 users who have not had a way to put in, a wasteboard in here. I mean, there are ways that you can do it, but it's just too much of a problem with the CO2. So this is, a quick, easy way to set up a template so that you can get perfect engravings and perfect cuts and make life so much easier using a laser. All right, so no Lightburn camera, you say. Here's a little hack for you. When you're doing something like this and you needed to cut this piece out, but you didn't want to waste any of the other wood. So if you see over here, I've gone ahead and put my wood back on the template again, and I'm going to take now my cut that I've already done and put that on a tool path. So now if I come over to my art library, let's get something that's simple. Let's just do the let me see what the fastest one would probably be. This cat right here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to shrink this guy all the way down. We don't want to waste any of this wood. And we wanted to, make some design. Now you could design something like this and engrave and cut it out. We're not going to do that. We're just going to engrave it so I can show you just how accurate we can get. Now I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm just going to bring this one off over here just to show you this is like a Lightburn camera. So we can do this like this and get real close to this edge here, real close to this edge here, and not have to worry about it because, we've already got this framed out. We know that it's going to work. So if I come over here to the library, let me come to Engrave Fast, Engrave Light, and let me assign this to that layer. 8070 looks good. So we're going to just bring this out one more time so that you can see it. And I'm just going to hit start. And I really like this because a lot of times I'll use lasers that don't have cameras. So I've done this on several different lasers when I don't have a camera to use, so that I don't waste my wood. All of these wood pieces that you see me cutting out in the videos, they don't go into the scrap pile. I keep them. And I do things like the whole honeycomb bed hold down pins, you know, small little objects like that. And that way I don't have to waste any of this wood. And you know, the last thing I want to do is waste wood. So I wind up with a lot of little circles and a lot of little squares and, you know, a lot of little cutout pieces. And I can actually take the measurements off of those pieces, take one sheet of the craft paper, go ahead and burn those measurements all over the craft paper, and then just go and take my pieces and drop them onto the marks. And I can use every one of those little small circles, squares, cutouts, instead of throwing the wood over in the scrap pile. And you can see now that the first graphic is done. It's moving on to the second graphic. There's not much more time here. And this is just a great way to save money. I mean, the last thing you want to do is throw away your hard-earned dollars. And, you know, I try and save every piece that I possibly can. And this is the best way to do it, as far as I'm concerned. If you have a better way, tell me about it. Show it to me, because I've never found a better way to do it that's cheaper than this. It's only a couple of cents for the piece of paper. And, you know, the wood can be quite expensive. So I'd rather waste the paper and not the wood. And here we go. We're just about at the end here. Just about finished. So now you can see, I'm going to zoom way in on this, and you can see that those graphics are perfectly lined up on that wood. We don't have to waste not even a millimeter of wood if we don't want to, using this method. All right, so that's it. Quick, easy. Precision down to a millimeter. Look how close to the edge I got on the bottom of that graphic right there, and that could have been a cut line. So you don't have to waste any of this scrap wood, and I don't waste any of my scrap wood myself. It's hard-earned money, so why would you want to throw that away? Use every bit of the wood that you get. You can make little wooden pendants. You can make honeycomb hold-down pins. You can make all sorts of little things, coins, out of the scrap wood. I see so many people or I know so many people that have burn piles of wood. And real big pieces, big usable pieces, you know, in weird shapes. Like they may have cut out a map of the United States or something like that, and they have weird shape in there. Well, you know, it's easy to reuse those. And if you do have a piece that you want to take out of the wood pile, you can photograph it. And you can import that photograph and trace it. And then just take a measurement of the area from the furthest 2 points apart and resize your graphic using those 2 reference points. And you'll have a perfect template as well. So there's so many ways that you can do this and save a whole bunch of money. And this is what I have found over all of my experience is the easiest thing to do. I don't quite know why I haven't done a video on it before. I think it's because a while back I did that video on cardboard templates, and those are what I used to use for production. I have probably 50 of those cardboard templates that I cut out, you know, the templates where I could just drop things into them. I have some acrylic templates. I have cardboard templates, you know, that I used to use on the diode laser. And those had little holes in them where I have corresponding holes in the spoil board, and I just pin them in place with push pins. So that's the way I used to do it. But I find this is much easier, especially with the craft paper. So this is now my number one go-to way of doing something. I can create a grid for, 3 or 4 coasters in a couple seconds, really, in Lightburn, and just drop a piece of this paper down, or even a piece of cardboard. And any cardboard will do. It can be, an old Amazon box, as long as it's flat. It's got to be relatively flat. I picked up cardboard, a whole stack of cardboard, in, I think it was 4 foot by 4 foot, 4 foot by 4 foot sections. And it was designed specifically for freight haulers. So you put this piece of cardboard down on a pallet and then stack your product on top of it. In fact, a lot of you people may work in warehouses where you get pallet deliveries. You'll know what I'm talking about. Snatch those pieces of cardboard because they work great. Just cut them right down the middle to your size of your laser bed. Put it on the laser bed, pin it down in place, glue it down, tack it down with the little nano stickers in place. Put it on your CO2 laser and hold it down with magnets. Set up your job and burn it real quick in line mode, and then you'll have all of your areas set up. You can do 5, 6, 7 different jobs at the same time from the same template. You can keep reusing it over and over again, just burning new templates over the ones that are already there. You can flip it over, use the other side. You could just save so much time, so much money with this, that it's going to make you a lot more productive, and you'll be able to make more money or save money on your supplies. So I hope this video helped you today, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. So as always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.